Welcome back to the E3 Reaction Explosion Part 2.
It's 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
Double.
This is Justin.
Matt.
And I'm Landon.
We didn't do any extreme intros this
Nah.
time. Like, we I can't say it because my daughter just walked in the room. We're gonna keep it clean for part 2. So we wrapped up part 1 talking about Microsoft. I know we wanted to kind of transition because one of the titles that kind of bridged the gap between Microsoft and Ubisoft would be Assassin's Creed. So Matt, you want to kick us off with a little Assassin's Creed reaction?
Oh yeah. That's why this one's
I'll
been.
go get you a towel.
It's like, dude, I know you like Assassin's Creed, but damn.
This Assassin's Creed. I am so glad they took that year off. It looks freaking fantastic.
Really? So I'm glad to hear you say that because you, at first, when you first heard about this,
I
you were
didn't
not
know.
thrilled.
I didn't know. I mean, we've already done London. I mean, we already had guns and this, that, and the other. They said, and I didn't really realize this, but 10th anniversary of this game is what we're at. 10 years since the first one.
10?
That's what I said.
Wow.
10th anniversary, they wanted to do something for the fans and for themselves. So this story that you're getting is the start of the Assassin's Creed.
Wow.
This is who it started with and where it started, which is freaking awesome.
That's
Pretty cool.
And they've worked on the mechanics. They've done a lot of listening and you know, to the fans and what they wanted with the Assassin's Creed, because I don't know about you guys, Unity was kind of sucked with like the combos, and then Syndicate, I only played demos because I don't have it yet. I haven't caught up yet, which I know I'm a terrible fan. But I like to savor them. I mean, it takes me a year to get through a game because I play every take a message mission.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I just ride a horse around. I remember the first one. It's so beautiful, and I would just ride my horse around the countryside, you know, like some kind of prince. I was like, look at my land. A ball. Come in and look at this. But you know, it looks so good. You've got an eagle now. There's more kind of like a drone. Mm-hmm. You send the eagle out. It can identify targets. It tells you what's going on, who you're looking for. They worked up where you're using a bow now, and you can use a bow in combat where you can just, you know, really just light somebody up with it. They've got something called the 5-shot where you put 5 arrows in there, 5 guys standing around each other. They all get an arrow.
Well, I guess that's why they call it a 5-shot.
They call it a 5-shot. Or you can light those all 5 arrows into one person, which was funny in a couple things. I think the porcupine is what they were calling people that got hit with it. Porcupine. But, I mean, it looks so good. I'm so excited about the story. But let me tell you, I don't know what is in Ubisoft's coffee in their headquarters. They have many, we'll say 6 versions of this game you can buy. Oh, Landon knows where I'm going with this. There is the regular one, which is going to be about $60. There is like a $75 one. There's a $90 one. And then there's an $800 one.
What?
Yep.
$800?
American dollary, dude.
Why?
Dinero.
Hey, it's only been
Wait,
limited to $999.
Let me just go back to my original question. Why?
Here's why. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
A collector's market is a collector's market, but we'll talk about some of the things that are in there. The game.
I would hope you get that game
so.
for $800.
I would love it if you didn't. But no, the game. This collector's tin that it sits in like a book looking thing.
They call it a gold steelbook case.
I think it's the Book of the Dead. I'm not sure. I know Brandon Fraser had a part in it. No, I'm just kidding. That's Mummy Tuck. But you get lithographs with the developers' signatures. All of the developers' signatures.
4 of them.
Oh.
You get 4
So I guess there was only
lithographs.
4 developers. You get a hand-drawn map of the world. I don't know what sad
What
individual
world?
has to draw
Man.
these maps.
I know we're an audio-based format, but just look at the hope in his eye when you said a hand-drawn map. He is on board.
I'm sure
well,
eBay will suffice your needs. You don't have to spend $800.
When you got started, I thought you were going the direction of hand job, and I was like,
Hand
that
job
makes
map.
sense. Now
you know
I
what?
understand the price point.
I could see that some DNA is being spilled upon this parchment. Because I'm sure somebody's fingers are going to be bleeding for 900 of these things. Hand drawn. That's insane.
No,
to me.
999. Come on.
999.
Get it
Sorry.
right.
No. I think there was some more stuff in there that was like, the pendant, the resin pendant that the character wears. You get an authentic resin one. Authentic. Because it came straight off his sweaty chest.
And they come with certificates of authenticity. So if you're going to buy it on the black market, you don't have to worry about getting some bootleg Eagle amulet.
That's right. I mean, we're talking like gold coins, authenticity, kind of certificates here.
Oh, and then here's the kicker: a 28-inch statue of the protagonist.
Perfect.
Yep,
absolutely.
So you can get all the with that.
That's right, and also to hold down your wallet from making more of these purchases.
My only question is, like, how will you make time for all the women that will be, like, filling up your date book if you buy this thing?
Now, I know you guys aren't Star Trek fans, like huge ones, but do you know what a Horgon is?
I'm intrigued just based on the name of it.
I was going to say.
It's this idol when they went to this planet called Risa, which is basically, it looked like a brothel. Because everybody
the whole planet?
Well, everybody on Risa wants to get down. That's why you go to Risa. You go to Risa to get down.
Road trip.
Well, they have this little statue, and it's called a Horgon, which is a fitting name. You put it out when you're ready for some action.
Oh, it's like going to like a Brazilian steakhouse.
There you go. Yeah, when you flip the card to green. So I'm thinking, if you put that statue in your window, you're going to have to get a stick that comes with it to beat them out of the door.
They just don't stop coming until you take that statue
out.
Right.
Okay, guys, I'm done. Statue on the ground.
And you just hear, oh.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's insane. 800.
So,
I don't even know.
What we're saying is, if you put the little statue of the protagonist outside, it means
you're ready. You're ready to get down.
All the ladies,
welcoming all the
or
ladies.
the men, whichever you prefer, or both.
Oh,
I would think you would get both.
Yeah, for that price point, you should
absolutely.
And you get art cards. We don't know what art cards are, but you get them.
Okay.
Art cards, yeah. I think they're like Pokemon cards, except there's no game.
Oh, and you get a season pass, so you actually get something that's worth money.
Here's my thing: for $800, I should have a lifetime pass.
Yeah, I think so.
I gave you $800 of my good money.
You should
because
get
I believed
every
in your
DLC
fantasy character.
you Ubisoft ever makes.
I mean, I kind of feel like don't get me wrong. I am the biggest Assassin's Creed fan, at least this table. I'm not saying the world because I'm sure there's somebody who cosplays every day, but
yeah, they're called assassins.
Yeah. Come on. But if I give you $800 for your D&D character, I think that I should get a lifetime pass to your game.
Yeah.
I mean,
forever.
Ubisoft has the Uplay network or whatever. It's like, seriously, if you're going to drop $800 on one version of a game, you'd better be giving me some sweet stuff on the online market where it costs you upwards of nothing.
I pay for nothing on the market. Like if I want that skin, it's mine. Oh, that's Matt Weaver. You just go ahead and get that, Dan.
Oh, right this way, sir.
Yeah. VIP treatment upon the onlinus.
Well, again, you dropped $800 for a video game and a statue.
And a statue and a necklace.
Because
that's your Horgon on the go.
An authentic pendant.
I don't know. I didn't bring my statue with you, but let me part my V-collar here and let you see this resin skull amulet. But anyway, the game looks incredible. You get to ride a camel. That's awesome.
Yeah, Matt was on board at that point.
And I was like, camel? Well, we haven't had horses and stuff in a while.
Camels are less exciting.
I can't say enough about it. The mechanics look great. I mean, granted, it was shown on the X when I saw it. And then, of course, Ubisoft showed it, as great as they could get it. I really like it. I'm really excited about it. I'm ready to do this.
All right.
I don't know if it'll be a day one purchase for me, but it's definitely something. Once it hits like that $30 price range, I'm gonna hop.
Wait a minute, you're not dropping $800 for this thing?
I checked with my accountant while y'all were talking.
Yeah, not gonna work.
Not gonna work. Sorry, guys.
No, he's got to buy controllers for Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna start hitting buttons now for that 1.8 trillion hit combo.
While we're talking about Ubisoft, I want to talk about their presentation. It's like we're all family. We're all a community here. We're all sharing underwear. I mean, it was what they were trying to. They even started out their thing in a pre-show where they're all on the couch just hanging out. Hey guys, welcome to the family. Here's your spot.
Well, what does it say at the beginning of every Assassin's Creed game? What does it say, Assassin's Creed fanboy?
What does it say at the beginning of everything?
Every game.
Every game.
I mean, I know the motto.
This game has been made by people of different
multicultural.
exactly.
Yeah, multicultural.
So this is Ubisoft in a nutshell.
That's their mantra. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like we are everywhere. I mean, the guy who introduced it, I mean, he looked like he was from Egypt. I mean, I don't know if that's racist.
I'm backing away from the mic on that one.
No, I mean, I thought he was cool. I was like, can we be friends? I like your shirt.
I are you and you are me.
But, he was actually, that guy was really, I don't know, I guess he was a creator. I mean, he knew the game in and out. He knew the character back. And, I mean, like I said, I was impressed with the presentation. But they were all about, let's hug it out, guys. Well, and let's all be a community.
Well, and to stay in that same vein, it's like, don't want to jump ahead too far in the Ubisoft presentation. But when they finally announced Beyond Good and Evil 2 is actually happening and everybody came out.
People lost their minds.
People were crying. Like this is a game.
Don't get me wrong.
15 years in the making. Like, this was vaporware up until it was shown on stage. Like, yes, but not only do we A, acknowledge we remember what this is, B, we're working on it and it's coming out.
You know what I said? My only note for it? This looks like Fifth Element.
Well, and...
It looked like, don't get me wrong, I love Fifth Element. That's one of those ones that's on the TV. Yep. Watching. Mm-hmm. And, that Valerian that's coming out, watching.
Oh, man.
I'm all about that. So, I think it looked great. I thought the character, I mean, granted, it was all cutscenes. We got no action. But the cutscenes were, the story looked magnificent.
But again, just the fact that they're acknowledging it.
Oh, yeah.
And again, it's like, we're still totally working on this and we intend to let you play it. It's like,
someday.
Holy crap.
It's going to happen.
I will say this. They were very humorous, and this goes back to the very first. They showed a video of all the people who have talked and played their games. They made a huge collage of videos of people who had like different things and aspects and videos they had made for Ubisoft. Not like people had made it for it, but just like stuff they had handpicked off off of YouTube. And they even went to the point that their new symbol is kind of like this little swirl. Mm-hmm. Somebody had actually done a 3D rendering of it and said it looks like poo.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And they laughed about it. They go, well, we appreciate everyone's arts and thoughts. So, I mean, I thought that was funny. So they did a good job.
Yeah. Not taking themselves overly seriously.
No, they're like, we make games.
And how can you when one of their announcements was South Park, The Fractured Butthole?
Holy crap.
However, yeah. Still scheduled for October 17th. We'll see.
I actually think they're going to hit that release date because the Fractured Butthole was not the only South Park game that they announced. They have
Phone Destroyer.
That's what I wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Did you get the little under the radar one? They kind of tried to slip in. They talked about it a little bit, but they were like, "Hey, just by the way, tide you over." And it was a Pokemon Go concept. Mm-hmm. You go out and you fight battles outside.
See, I took it more as like it's one of these like collectible card games like that you can play on your phone. It's like I know, but I think Fox Animation has one similar to that, and it's like you build up your team and you play these.
Maybe that's what it was. It looked like you had to go somewhere to get stuff.
But I mean, it's like that's the thing. It's like we only know this is coming out. They didn't show us any actual gameplay footage of it. We just know the concept of it. But the fact that they said this is coming this year, that tells me that the Fractured Butthole is going to hit its release date window.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I didn't.
But they showed a lot of the story with that, and it was hilarious. But I thought it was funny. The fact is, they're all superheroes.
Yep,
that was hilarious.
Because in the last game they were all fantasy wizards. And
yeah, exactly.
So now they're playing superheroes.
They're playing superheroes, and that's a big property. I don't know if anybody wants to admit that, but South Park is a huge property to hang on to.
Well, and I mean, especially working with guys like Matt and Trey, because if you remember initially, this was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
Is this a 2016 release?
No, crap. I just completely blanked. I believe it was supposed to be THQ was the original publisher of the Stick of Truth, but because Matt and Trey weren't cool with how it was going, or vice versa, THQ wasn't cool with how it was going with Matt and Trey, the game never came out, and for the longest time it looked like, well, that's never happening. Ubisoft steps up to the plate and it's like, all right, you guys do you, because we realize when you guys are given the time, nobody on this planet can touch you at what you do.
Exactly.
So,
it says, what I'm reading about this game, it says it'll be a real-time battle game. Players will be able to participate in PvP battles or play a single-player story mode with a host of satirical classes to use in combat. It's a standalone release, not tied to South Park, The Fractured Butthole.
It still doesn't tell us.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but it's just...
But no, that sounds cool, though. At least you can play it by yourself or with others. I knew it'd be some kind of battle game, though.
Yeah.
They kind of built it up as that.
Though I do think it's kind of funny that we're getting a South Park mobile game. Let's go ahead and assume it's a freemium or a free-to-play.
It is free to play.
Yeah.
But
it is.
But I'm willing to bet there's going to be microtransactions.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
And they already had an episode kind of lambasting the whole microtransactions on free-to-play games. So it's interesting to see them going that route. And I'm also interested to see just how much fun they're going to make of the whole process.
It says it's not going to cost money to unlock things. So you
okay.
Yeah, but
just
we'll
gotta play.
see. We'll see.
It's probably going to be one of those. You don't have to buy anything, but it's like, do you really want to wait 24 hours for your epic Princess Kenny to level up?
Yeah, there you go. Any thoughts on Transference, the VR game that they
Let me see what I had.
demonstrated?
With Elijah Wood,
It
the
looked
horror
like
story.
It looked like a bunch of apathy in the room here. So
It's a horror game, and it's done by Elijah Wood.
Yep.
It's on VR.
It's VR. I mean, I love VR, but I don't know. It was very reminiscent of Resident Evil, which we have yet to see like the bigger parts of. So I don't know. It could be good. I don't know.
It's an interesting concept. It says the story takes place after scientists discover the ability to upload and record consciousness of someone.
Basically, the way they build it is that nothing can harm you in there.
Yeah.
But there's like every time they say it with this kind of empty, nothing can harm you in there. Mm-hmm. You know? But they talk as if they're downloading your fears.
That reminds me of there's an episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys watch this show, but
I haven't watched the latest season.
But I hate to say anything because I feel like every episode of that show you can spoil and it'll just ruin everything. But there's
one about it.
There's an episode about tapping into fears
Okay.
and technology interacting with your environment and
There's a guy speaking on this, and this is kind of off subject, but I saw it today. A guy has built a ride that's basically you're in a seat and it slingshots you around in a kind of a south to north circle. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to describe anything like that. But the ride goes faster and does more flips and stuff in the seat. The more you fear it. They have the sensors on you. I'll have to pull up the video off air for you guys. But they put sensors on you, and the more you're like scared of what's happening, it gets worse.
Jeez,
that's a perpetual nightmare machine.
Because he said what he found out in roller coasters is people remember the most traumatic parts of the loops and the stuff because you're scared to death.
Yeah,
and that's what this thing is trying to do. Is it's trying to scare you more and more.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's kind of the Black Mirror episode. You should really watch it. It's crazy.
I love Black Mirror. I think it's probably one of probably the next best thing you can get to Twilight Zone of our age.
It's really good, yeah.
So.
But there wasn't Black Mirror announcements at E3. But anything else we wanted to talk about from Ubisoft?
Skull and Bones, baby.
Yeah. We talked about.
But it was cool. It was the only thing I'll say about Skull and Bones that we didn't mention with Sea of Thieves is the PvP on it is it's you and 5 other ships going after somebody else and their 5 other ships, which is people, and you just battle it out with the old style pirate galleons. Mm-hmm. And the part that I like the most is once you win, and it's whoever has the most loot, but once you win, the pirate hunters come in and they run you out of the cove. And if you don't leave, they blow you up and take your loot too. So you really don't earn anything if you don't get out afterwards. And that's kind of fun. There was... I don't even know why they even announced Just Dance 2018.
Because it's an Ubisoft press conference.
I understand that, and it was the craziest crap I'd ever seen in my life. It was like 50s bebop and like the dance show with the guy. What is their name? The guys who used to cover their faces, the Gorillas. Is that their name?
Oh. No, are you talking?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They had the masks. Jabberwockies. Mm-hmm. It looked like the Jabberwockies and 50s Bop got together and made music together. It was insane. It was like Daft Punk and the Big Bopper got together.
I thought you were talking about Daft Punk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it was nuts. And it was like, hey, Just Dance 2018. I'm like, okay, thank you, Nightmare.
Well, it's the same reason EA has to trot out Madden and all that stuff that we know is coming. They have.
I wish they would have trot out Madden. Bring him out. He's in chains. We talked about Fractured Butthole. The Crew 2 looked cool. I've never played The Crew, but it looks like every vehicle you can think of, you're going to get in. Monster trucks, cars, planes, speedboats.
Yeah, adding the planes was an interesting.
That was
wrinkle,
cool.
But
Did you play the first crew?
I played a little bit of it, but I'll fully admit, like, these types of games aren't the stuff that I'm
they're
like
for you.
Yeah, they're not
gotcha.
my hashtag jams. But it's like, I do think it's cool that they're adding the aerial element to it.
Rainbow Six Siege is getting updates and patches, so they're pushing it more.
Okay.
So Rainbow Six is what it is. They actually talked about, we heard what the community didn't like and what they did like. Guys didn't like certain OP elements, and then there was some underdeveloped people. They're fixing it. So
Well, I'm glad that it seems like they're following the lead of like EA. That it seems like developers are finally listening to us, the consumer.
and then Far Cry 5.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit.
That looks insane.
Oh wow!
I've never played any of the I played the first 2 Far Cries when you were like some kind of animal.
Okay, then you haven't played
No.
these types of Far Cry games. It's like, I think it was in 3 or 4 it made this transition to what it is now. And it's like, this is the first Far Cry game that is based in America, because we've gone to like, nondiscrete
Singapore.
South American
Yeah.
country. We've gone, to the jungle and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But this is the first time it's going
This
to be.
was pretty crazy because what you see in this intro, Justin, because I know you didn't watch it.
I did not.
He's busy. He's a busy guy. But they have a church. They're singing praises like church hymns. You go in there and there's all these people standing around with guns, and the guy leading the congregation has like this big AK-47. He looks like a tough kind of guy. Jean jacket, cut off sleeves, baby. Skinhead, beard, American flag behind him with like some kind of like cross symbol in it. These are religious zealots in Montana. Montana, right?
Montana.
Okay. I got it wrong last time. And you're basically going to take them down. You're just going to go kill them because you are a gun for hire. And somebody says they need to die. So that's what you go and do. And you got a dog.
And piggybacking on what Matt said, being a gun for hire, it seems like in Far Cry 5 they have a system called the for hire system. You can get a gun for hire. You can get, what did I write down? Friends for hire. You can get fangs for hire. And Matt made a reference, you get a dog. His name is Boomer. That is your fangs for hire. He can go out, like, tag enemies. Like
He has some really cool takedowns in what they showed. Like, he can strip a gun from somebody.
Yeah.
Or he can grab a sleeve and take them down, and you can fire into him.
Does he accept U.S. dollars?
He might. They
U.S. milk bones.
Yeah, they did not say how you pay the dog. It's like everybody else, I guess you figure out, like, they got a PayPal account, but it's like you can't really, Bitcoin over some kibble.
Yeah, maybe he has a chip reader.
Yeah, possibly. We did get a release date on it. It's going to be dropping February 27th of next year. It has co-op, or it advertised co-op gameplay, and I do like that aspect because it really feels like, at least in the gameplay video.
I feel like Far Cry, like the last one I saw, I've watched some gameplay, and a buddy of mine was playing. I came over to his house one time. It looks like you need co-op.
And especially in this one, because the for hire system, it's like in the gameplay video we saw our main character, he coordinated with his gun for hire who was in the water tower to take out snipe and stuff like that, and he was in communication with Boomer the dog. So I am interested to see if you can be like, all right, Matt, hop in, I need for you to be in the truck right around this corner. I'm going to open fire and see if I can flush him out to you and just ram him with the truck or something like that.
Yeah, you come up with battle plans. It's kind of following their whole Rainbow Six ideology. Here's a game plan. We're going to follow it until it falls apart.
And I do not believe it's going to be local co-op.
Okay.
It didn't say it was local co-op, and I kind of feel like in this day and age, if it was local co-op,
they promote it.
Yeah, that would be a point on the back of the box.
I agree.
The only other one I'd like to talk about, Steep, was just it looked like snowboarding. I mean, it was really nothing. It's a story about being an Olympic snow person.
I still got SSX on my Xbox.
Yeah,
One,
exactly.
So
I was like, So I'm going to kind of skip over that one. I'm sorry if I offend anybody.
That's all right.
I want to talk about Starlink. Have you? Yeah. I know you saw it. Have you heard anything about it?
No,
not at all. Lego Dimensions is kind of a big thing right now, and I'm trying to think of the other two that are out,
like Skylanders or
This is like that. You buy the ship, you plug it in. I would imagine, but as you're playing the game, I need heavier guns on this. You connect the guns. It sees the guns. It adds it to your game.
You have to go buy the attachments to the ship.
This is the most money laundering thing I've ever seen in my life. The game looked amazing. The concept seems nice, but I can bet those accessories are going to be $20 a pop.
Yeah,
they are going to kids are going to loot you.
Wow,
this just
feels like this mission without a chain gun.
Don't tell my kids about.
Yeah,
this
pretty
game.
much. Yeah, thank God your kids don't listen to this.
You need to keep him away from anything called Starlink.
Okay,
but it really feels like it's just the next evolution in toys to games. But at the same time, it's like you said, like Lego Dimension is successful. It's like that whole market is dying out, the whole like little thing to game. Because it's like, I mean, Disney had to bow out of it because they couldn't make it work. They were losing money on it. So Infinity's gone. Lego Dimensions just wrapped up its second season. And I don't know if there's been an announcement for a season 3 when it comes to that. Really, the only one that's been, I guess, untouchable has been Skylanders. And Skylanders has been going forever.
We spent so much money on those
you
things.
knows what's up. And even like Nintendo is kind of on the fringe of being successful with their amiibos. So it's like it does.
They're still pushing them though.
And they announced some amiibos and some amiibo exclusive, interactions.
That had to do with Ubisoft was that stupid, and I call it stupid. I thought that Mario.
Oh, the
I thought that Mario
and
Kingdom
Rabbids.
Battle.
Rabbids.
I thought that was stupid. I don't get it.
It's an interesting crossover, and it really feels like
it's turn-based.
Yeah, it feels more like an XCOM game than it does either a Rayman or a Mario game.
Weird.
It's turn-based. It
was like, roll your dice. I can play that at home.
But at the same time, who remembers how awesome Super Mario RPG was? Who here said like
there was a Mario RPG?
Yeah, for the Super Nintendo. It was awesome. Made by Square Enix.
Nice.
You might have heard of them. But it's...
They've made a few good ones.
It's one of those games, it's like, this sounds stupid. Why would I do this? And then you actually sit down and play it. It's like, I never knew I wanted Bowser to be in my RPG party, yet here we are.
Yeah.
So it's like, I agree. It's not what I thought would have been an announcement for that type of game. But it's Nintendo.
No, I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got to be somebody's My High Chess Games. So, I mean, it's not mine. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I couldn't get into it. But like I said, somebody will. The only thing I'll say about it is that Starlink was open world, which I found surprising.
See, I didn't pick up on that.
They said open world, and they said, your custom ships with your custom builds stay. So,
all right.
I think that wraps up Ubisoft for
All
me.
right. I think it should.
Jay's over here. It's like, I don't want to break this into a
Are we gonna?
3.
We might do it.
Jesus, are we gonna?
I think we move on to Bethesda.
Yeah, it's time to drop some acid. Because their whole freaking thing was like, I thought I was on drugs and high the whole time.
I liked the presentation, the whole Bethesda land.
That weird theme park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what was up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought it was cool.
It's like, there's definitely a reason they went so late on Saturday night because they wanted their audience to get good and liquored up.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Drink up.
Bethesda, rated M for aw, yeah.
And,
doesn't work.
Their first focus, was telling you, hey, we made Fallout 4. Hey, we made Skyrim.
Hey, remember these cool things we did?
Hey, we made Doom.
Yeah.
And didn't they do like a little entourage of Doom? Like they went through the years of Doom and...
That I don't know.
Maybe I saw it in another video.
Doom in memoriam.
Here's Zombie Skullface. Yeah.
They had I don't know where I watched it. Maybe it was on... I was trying to find the Bethesda thing, but... The whole thing, the evolution of Doom, was kind of cool to see how they went all the way up. So that was kind of cool.
Well, and I do like the fact that they're continuing to focus on Doom because I spoke very glowingly of their most recent Doom, and it was put out by Bethesda. So I'm interested to see more of that.
Do you want to know where they're going with it?
Well,
you saw it and I saw it. You know where they're going with it.
They're going to Vomit Land because they're putting Doom in
VR.
That's right.
That just has throw up written all over.
That's got Nightmare Concepts written all over.
Because I mean, it's like there were moments even in the most recent Doom. It's like jump scare moments, like, oh god, that demon just busted through this wall that I didn't think was possible. It's like, well, guess what? Ding dong, now it's in your face.
Now that we've broken the seal in this VR,
yeah, there's so much to talk about when it comes to VR.
Well, I think Sony said it all, but what do you think about Fallout 4?
Obviously, I'm a fan of the Fallout franchise. I put a ton of hours into Fallout 4. Is it the best Fallout? No, but at the same time, I don't think it necessarily has to be. I do think it's kind of an interesting concept of doing Fallout 4 in complete VR. Like this is a game made for VR, not like, oh, well, we're just going to port it over and add some aspects to make it look... No, this is a game built around VR. So, and they made the same announcement for Skyrim is coming to VR as well.
Skyrim is VR also.
Part of me is like a little aggravated because we're 5 years removed from Skyrim coming out, the original one on the PC.
Are you? Because I can talk about content that's about to be released on it.
Oh, well, we'll get there in 1 second. But we're 5 years removed from the original Skyrim. We were 5 years removed from Elder Scrolls Oblivion before we got to Skyrim. So we were at it generally takes about 5 years for us to get that full-blown Elder Scrolls experience. We're past 5 years at this point from Skyrim coming out back in 2011. And since then, I mean, they've gone hard on ESO.
Yeah, they've been putting their effort in ESO.
So I'm kind of worried. It's like, people over here, it's like, hey, can we get a Grand Theft Auto 6? Yeah, probably eventually. But in the meantime, Rockstar's just going to continue to print money with GTA Online.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of a little
What
leery.
motivation do they have to put all that effort into developing a new game?
Exactly. And it's like, I didn't think we were going to get any announcement on Fallout because, like I said, it's not Fallout's time. It's supposed to be Elder Scrolls. But all the Elder Scrolls announcement is just around VR stuff and re-releasing it. It's like,
Morrowind.
I love Skyrim. Skyrim was awesome. I put 400 hours into it. I don't need to play it on every damn platform. Though I will say,
Are you sure?
Yeah, but that's like, we don't know about that, Landon. But I'll give it a shot on the VR, assuming I can find a VR rig, because we'll go ahead and they said Skyrim was for the PlayStation VR. Sony did not make one announcement or hint that they're going to be reducing their PlayStation VR set, which if you don't have the camera and your own Move or Kinect or whatever, that's a $500 investment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping $500 just so I can play.
Well, especially when
Skyrim.
you spent $800
Yeah,
on
I know. He's got to get AC or Origin.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he
This is
can't.
turning into a very expensive E3.
It really is.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it looked cool. And I'm a big VR person, but I was kind of like, this is overexposure of the same games. It's like, I understand you're trying to bring us into the now.
I think that's what it is, though. I think that VR right now is just, it's almost like we're just now entering the era of VR gaming, because we talked about how there have been attempts to do some VR things in the past, but the technology just wasn't there. Now it's there. We can put VR in everybody's homes. I mean, $500 is a huge investment, but that's relatively cheap compared to what it used to cost to put something like this in your home. And so now they're like, well, we need some gateway titles to get people interested in the VR thing. So we know people love Skyrim. We know people enjoyed the Doom release. All these sorts of things. So we can get people, we can ease them on. Then what we have to find is we have to find their VR gateway drug.
The gateway drug.
And then they can, once they see that there's interest in that and they start getting adopters, then they'll start developing unique content for VR. That's what I think we're probably going to see.
And Bethesda has said, I mean, I made reference, Skyrim has only been announced for PSVR. We don't know where Fallout 4 VR is falling. We don't know if Skyrim VR is going to go to other platforms. But Bethesda has said I even have the quote, they're going to support as many platforms as they can.
Well, Nintendo's already said that not the VR, but they're getting Skyrim too.
Yeah.
So,
and
there's rumors, and this is just rumors. This is not an E3 thing. There's rumors that people have shown that the way the Switch is set up, it is set up for a VR helmet. They've said,
because you've got the two,
right? Well, they put it in there, and those two connections are just as easily slide into a helmet because most of your helmets are that big.
You still need something in your hands, though, right?
Well, yeah, you got to have the Joy-Cons separate, like you were saying, and you would have those in your hands anyway, kind of like the way the Vive works, I think, and maybe the PlayStation's got those kind of separate controllers. So, yeah, I mean that's the rumor, guys.
Interesting. Okay,
that's what I've heard.
I heard that one of the big things from because again I didn't see it, but I heard, and I want to hear from you guys what your reactions were to the Evil Within 2 trailer.
I know,
insane.
Yeah, I mean it looked nuts.
That was just bat crazy.
I'll let you talk on this because you seem to be more on board than I am.
It's a horror game.
I'm not big on horror games. Couldn't get into Evil Within, so Matt, take it.
I have my buddy Thomas. He didn't play it. He watched. If you want to, you can watch YouTube. Somebody else play it if you want to watch the game. It's a insane story. Mm-hmm. Evidently, something happens to this guy. He's dead or whatever, and his daughter's in a dream. And basically, this whole video was just insanity of this guy in a nightmare. And you're watching it happen over and over again, and he's trying to escape, and at the end of it, he comes out of like this white goo, and he takes a breath, and then you see hands slowly pull him back down. It looks insane. It looks like you're playing somebody's nightmare. Yeah. I can only imagine what's in the game.
Yeah,
so it's freaky.
Apparently, I mean, there was a big reaction to that one.
A lot of people love it. I mean, it's probably one of the top horror games that I've heard of. Like, people are all about it.
Well, what about this? What about the Wolfenstein 2?
Hilarious.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could make Wolfenstein funny, but it's post-apocalyptic, right? I guess the Nazis won. Mm-hmm. They've taken over America. You're kind of like a dude just doing his job, or I guess you get up at some point. I don't know. I don't know how you got influenced or.
Part of me feels like since this is Wolfenstein 2, that this is going to be a building off of the Wolfenstein game that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was very well received, once again, made by Bethesda. So I have a feeling...
And I don't know that story
it's going to be a carrying over from 1 into 2. So I don't know if you're going to have to do your homework between now and then. But
it sounds like you might need to.
But it looked Fallout. Like I didn't know the difference.
I see. Like you said, it's post-apocalyptic. I would almost call it dystopian.
Yeah,
dystopian. Oh, sorry, wrong word.
Yeah,
that's a better definition. Yeah, dystopian. I think what I was kind of like, what is going on this whole time? And then, of course, he puts acid in his mouth in the middle of a battlefield, and they're walking around. He goes, "Uh-oh," and this little gecko cartoon jumps out and starts running. He goes, "Where are you going, little guy?" And he's trying to capture him. He's like, "Come here, let me get you in here." He's tripping out, man. but that's the whole game.
No, that was the presentation.
This was the presentation
of the trailer,
and it was insane.
And they even gave you like fake commercials to a show. It's like some girl is walking over the mountain, and she comes across like a sheriff who his pickup truck rolled over and was crushing his leg, and she starts calling for, like, blows on a whistle and calling for somebody, and he's like, "Oh, here comes Lassie." No, here comes this mechanical hellcat that breathes fire that's like bigger than the truck. It's like, go help those people. So this giant cat rams the truck. It's like, "Oh, thank you," and then just destroys the truck, and you're like, what is
happening?
What is going on here?
You describe this, I feel like I'm on an acid trip.
Yeah, it's insane. I think they really went goofy, but at the same time, very dystopian, Nazi related. They didn't want to get away from that.
Well, it's like
I don't know. It's crazy.
I almost kind of feel like they started out with the goofy, over the top. Like, what's going on here at the top to kind of like ground you? Because when it does actually get into the gameplay and it shows you, like, this is a gory game. At one point, like when they're showing gameplay, not a movie or that they rendered or something like that, actual gameplay footage when you're running down a hallway and you have an axe and you take it to somebody's head, chunks of the head come out. When you shotgun blast somebody in the head, like, it's not just a hole, like it disintegrates and you see
you
brain
pumpkin head
splatter.
them. Yeah.
So I mean, this is a very gory, very graphic game, and like Matt said, it's like there is just Nazi imagery throughout this entire thing. It's like almost like a little Secret Empire-esque. It's like, no, the Nazis are the good guy.
The Nazis are the good guy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a little, bleh. So it's like, if it looks like it is setting up just a fantastically powerful, like, just atmosphere of a game. Like, and if it is carrying over the mechanics from the original, or not the original, the most recent Wolfenstein, I'm on board. Like, this is, I didn't think I would be saying this coming out of E3, but this is one of the games that I'm looking forward to the most playing this year.
Okay.
It looks good. I can't say anything bad about it.
Very nice.
Nice.
Any thoughts on Dishonored?
Dishonored looks nuts. I've never played Dishonored. It's one of those games that's like, I want to get, but I know I don't have time for. And this one looks even crazier. I don't know what's happening. I know this person can teleport, and they have a sword that comes out of nowhere. And they're kind of like just a really cool assassin. And it's kind of like steampunk assassin.
A little bit.
He's like a cyborg kind of dude.
It's really cool.
Like, I know a lot of people who are really into the Dishonored franchise.
I can see why.
I tried to play the first one. It's good, but like, it was a whole lot to take on, and I'm like, too much support where it's like, all right, I'm tapping, I'm going to go play other stuff. But it's like Matt said, it looks nuts. So
yeah, it sounds like it's a standalone, so it's not like you have to have exposure to the previous Dishonored games to get into this one. But yeah, that one's actually coming out relatively soon, September 15th. So interesting. Okay. So if you're into the Dishonored thing, you might that might be your hashtag jams right there.
Hashtag jams.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for Bethesda before we move on?
Well, I'll go ahead and address the elephant that I was talking about pre-show. I guess they're going back to developer mods being behind a paywall.
Yeah, they announced the Creation Club, which, like Matt said, is a, I guess, redo of Bethesda trying to get money for mods, and it's like, it didn't work last time, like, pissed people off.
It pissed them off this time, too.
Well, and it's like, I mean, if you remember, they had to issue, like, a full apology, like, full stop on this is not going forward. So I'm curious to see what they tweaked from when they killed their first iteration to now, what they changed to, in their minds, justify putting it back out there in the public, saying, no, we fixed what y'all were pissed about. You're going to love this. I'm curious to see what their justification is. That said, I don't think I'm going to be dropping money for user-created mods.
And it's developer mods and outside developer mods. So I'm guessing everything goes behind a paywall that is a mod.
I don't know if everything.
Well, I'm sure there's there's going to be get it somewhere else kind of thing there, but I guess if you have to run it through them or get some kind of special consent on certain characters, it's going to go behind it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm curious to see what they're going to do to.
It was the wording of third party and outside developer mods is going behind that kind of keyed me in. Who does that include? So I don't know what that means.
Well, really quick before we get out of Bethesda,
there's only other one I want to talk about.
I just wanted to point out Amiibo support for Skyrim Switch. If you have was it a Link Amiibo? Yeah. If you have the Link Amiibo, your character can get the Link costume and Master Sword and Shield. So.
Yeah, you can go play Link in Skyrim.
That's pretty cool, actually. I thought
that was fun. I don't give two craps about Zelda, but I thought that was cool.
It's a nice little
crossover touch.
The only thing I want to say is they're bringing back Quake, and now they have a $1 million championship.
Man, esports are taking off here recently.
Yeah, so
I should have gone into esports announcements.
You can practice, you can get good, but it's a $1 million prize to win the Quake championships.
Wow,
that's pretty cool.
I'd put in some practice for $1 million.
Yeah. No kidding.
You get wiped off the map for $1 million.
Yeah. Dude, I would get killed going into the lobby.
How do you die here?
It's like we didn't even know that was possible.
So that's all. That's all I got for Bethesda. You guys got anything else?
No, I don't. It may shock you all to hear this, but we've gone a little bit long talking about these two. So and we still have Sony and Nintendo to get to. So
buckle up, Buttercup.
So I have a feeling we're not going to be able to do that in the next 10 minutes. So my suggestion is let's make a part 3.
Okay.
We're having so much fun. Let's do this one more time.
Yeah. Hey, all the best stories are told in
That's
trilogy.
right. So this is a trilogy.
Right.
Trilogy.
Jackson taught us that.
Hashtag trilogy.
Trilogy. It's a trailer.
Trilogy.
Sorry. But yeah. So we're going to do that. We're going to split it off. We don't want to, commit you guys to our.
We're going to be your breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's right. There you go. That's a good idea. Just split us up into all 3 meals.
The E3 meal.
Yeah. Over the weekend, I'm sure you've got some chores to do, folding laundry, doing dishes, things like that. Plug in our E3 review, and that'll get you through it. So. Let's wrap up this one. Part 2 is done. Again, you can visit us on Twitter at nerd_news_cafe. We have a Facebook fan page, Nerd News Cafe. Our website's nerddnewscafe.com, and you can email us at nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. Thank you all for sticking with us through this one. Our preview or our little teaser here. Come back for part 3 so you can hear all about our thoughts on Sony and Nintendo. They wrapped up the conference, and we're going to wrap up our 3-part trilogy with them. So come back, and we will see you on the other side. Peace out, homie.